Jordan Tower with JT News. Make sure you smash that like button, smash that subscribe button.
Introducing Perry Purnell. All your fashion needs. Jackets, t-shirts, accessories, clothes, and even shoes by Erwin Fowler. Made in Italy. Go check him out below with all the links in the description.
And if you want to run ads on the channel, it's jordantowermedia at gmail.com. Let's get right into the news. All right, so we're talking about Rick Ross on this new song, Little Havana. That's really good. And it's a good teaser into the album, which drops Thursday night, right? So, let's see, tomorrow's the 8th, 9th. So it's going to be dropping on the same day that Kanye is doing that concert with special guest Drake. But anyways, on this song, he mentions Meek Mill, okay? And if you really look into the lyrics, right, before he mentions Meek Mill, he says they sold their soul and still on a leash. They put it wrong in the Genius. But it says, then he goes on to say, I was really throwing money. I really saw Meech, and I let them rapping dudes get closer to Meek. Talking about, like, Jay-Z's a rapping entrepreneur, right? And he got closer to Meek, and kind of like, even though Rick Ross would never have a problem with Jay-Z because Jay-Z gave him a chance, right? It's not the fact that it's the fact that Meek Mill was so swayed in Jay-Z's direction, you know? When Rick Ross is going to show you, look what Rick Ross did. I'm very impressed, even though I don't agree with everything that Rick Ross does and how he conducted everything, right? You know, like taking the real Rick Ross's, like, you know, all that stuff. But anyways, talking from a pure rapper perspective, he's one of the best rappers. He picks the best beats, and he put other people in position, man. He wasn't totally selfish. Like, he had a lot of other rappers. He gave a lot of people a chance, and it happened that Meek Mill and Wale really were able to capitalize on that. He put Meek Mill in position. He put Meek Mill in position when he got hot again. Because don't forget, Rick Ross was hot. Then he wasn't hot for like a little bit. Like just a little bit. Like he dropped like 2 albums. Then he was cold for a second. I'm talking about like 08, 09. And then he dropped BMF. Right? And then he was back on top. When he got back on top, what did he do? He said, okay. Like, I'm not saying he ever like completely fell off. I'm just saying that was like a year where it was a little spooky. But then he got back on top. When he got back on top, what did he do? He went for a run, okay? He got Meek Mill. He built a team, put other people on, built a label. He got away from the old label and made his new, what was this? Like what? No, he got rid of a lot of his other roster and built a new roster because the old stuff wasn't really, you know, Gunplay's his friend forever, Torch, and the other stuff wasn't really working so much. He tried to make it work, it wasn't catching. So he got Meek Mill, Wale, and then went on another tear for another like 5 years, and Meek Mill, you know, still going, right? But Meek Mill, you know, he signed with Rock Nation. That's a good move. I don't think Ross had a problem with that. You know, he signed with management. But now Meek Mill was so blinded by Jay-Z, which a lot of people are, okay, and they go to Rock Nation, and there's nothing wrong with that because Rock Nation does have opportunities. But they're not always going to put you in position to be your own boss. When Yo Gotti went over there, he already had artists that he had put on, okay? Yo Gotti's been trying to do that his whole career. He's always had artists. Starlito was one of his first artists that he had. You know, it just happened that certain rappers took off, and Starlito is still big on the underground. You know, he does really well. Zedzilla, that didn't completely work in his favor. Then he had what was the guy? Cocaine, I forget his name, man. Snooty Wild, was that his name? Yeah, he had a good single. And then, you know, obviously you got the Moneybagg Yo's and Black Youngsters and everything. But see, Rick Ross would have put Meek Mill in a different position. He would have showed him how to build his own label and everything. Rick Ross would have showed him how to get some wing stops and everything else. But you went with Jay-Z, who's just going to give you more opportunities. But I think that's what Rick Ross means. You're still on a leash. You're still signed to some guy. Like, I wanted you to, if I wanted anything for you, I wanted you to be free. Look at Rick Ross is wearing Meek Mill's chain in this video. I mean, in this picture. You think Jay-Z's going to be walking around with a DC chain? No. He's going to say, you'll put on this Rockefeller chain. So he kind of like lost. Like Wale stays down with Rick Ross, even though they've had their things in the past. You know, Meek Mill's claiming he never got paid after 5-6 years ago. He was going at Wale for saying the same thing. He said, I'm fine. I'm straight. 5 years ago. You'd already been on the label for 4 years. I just don't get when people make moves off of being starstruck. When Rick Ross has showed him that he's down for him no matter what. No matter what, bro. You know what I mean? Like, Rick Ross is somebody that I've seen always be there for artists in Miami. I've seen it with my own two eyes, man. Even if you're just coming up in Miami, he'll pull up around that time, 08, 09, 2010. Even when Kodak Black was getting hot, he'll give you a little bit of a push. You know what I mean? Even if you're not signed to him. Not many people would do that, man. You know, and I gotta like. You always gotta like. Even though I pull some people apart, right? I always have things I respect about him. There's a lot of things I respect about Meek Mill, right? I respect that he gives back to his community. I respect that he takes care of his family. You know, I respect that he's a good rapper. You know, I don't like it when he tries to conform to what's hot in rap today versus just being himself, because being yourself never gets old. You know, when you're trying to like chase the little Dirk wave, you know, you can rap with them, but be yourself. You know, that's all I'm saying. You know, and because you know they're younger, you got to let them do their lane and you do your lane. Meek Mill is a rapping. He's a rapping rapper. Okay, like he goes off. Anyways, I just brought that up because Rick Ross kind of did it. Rick Ross type of diss, not straight up, but you know, read between the lines. I mean, think about it. Meek Mill and him have had problems for the past year. It's pretty obvious. You know, he called out Rick Ross a month ago, and said he's never been paid. I mean, that's a direct diss towards Ross. He's signed to MMG / Warner Brothers Music, so they're both to blame when you say that. You didn't have him on your last album. Rick Ross doesn't have him on this album. There's a clear problem. But Rick Ross would never... Rick Ross doesn't really speak about stuff like that. If you've noticed. He doesn't... That's one thing I respect. He doesn't move on emotion. Because that can get you in trouble. And I respect that because it's hard to do. I mean, I always move on emotion. I always move on emotion. But anyways, this is Jordan Tower with JT News. If you want to run ads in the channel, it's jordantowermedia@gmail.com.
Introducing Perry Purnell. All your fashion needs. Jackets, t-shirts, accessories, clothes, and even shoes by Erwin Fowler. Made in Italy. Go check him out below with all the links in the description.